Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. In today's video, we are going to be talking about birdshot for home defense. This might be a little bit of a controversial topic for some people. So there's a couple different schools of thought with birdshot for home defense. Let's first touch on the subject of, is birdshot actually able to be used for home defense? Is it capable to actually be lethal if we need to use it against an intruder in our home? Obviously, the answer to that is depending on the certain type of birdshot, as long as it's not, extremely small shot, and even then it depends on the distance, but as long as we're using some larger shot, yeah, it's absolutely going to be lethal if hit in the right spot, in the right situation, in the right area, and in the right distance. So does it have the potential to be lethal? Yeah, absolutely. Would it be my first choice or even a recommendation for home defense? No, absolutely not. I would never recommend anybody to use birdshot, and I don't think it's a viable option for defense. However, again, I can't throw out and totally discard the fact that obviously that shot at, say like 2 feet away, and if it was heavier shot, that's obviously still going to be lethal. Let's get on to why I generally hear people using birdshot for home defense, and this is a very, very common theme, and this is the myth that I want to really kind of debunk in this video. The main reason that I hear people using birdshot for home defense, and was originally why I used birdshot in my home defense shotgun when I lived back in New York, when I really didn't know too much yet about the defensive side of firearms. I use birdshot because the main reason, you don't want it to penetrate through walls. So I hear this brought up a lot, and it follows generally with an emotional comment like, I have a 2-year-old in the next room. I have other people that I don't want that bullet passing through, or I don't want to have something else that's higher power passing through. And the one main thing that people seem to fail to realize, including myself at first, is that if this projectile or projectiles coming out of a barrel of a shotgun is capable of doing lethal harm to a human being, it will absolutely be capable of passing through the general standard wall that you have in your house, which is mainly just some drywall, maybe some 2x4s, electricity, whatever. Obviously, if your house is a little bit different, if it has cement or bricks or something else, that might not be the case. But generally speaking, it's going to go right through that wall if it's capable of being lethal to a human being. So that alone kind of should get the gears working that, okay, maybe I'm wrong on that. Then we want to look to the next point that a lot of people choose birdshot. One, they don't want it to pass through walls, and those same people 99% of the time are the ones that are going to say, well, you don't have to aim a shotgun. So this is almost a really bad double negative. So you have somebody that, one, thinks their birdshot is not going to go through the wall, and two, is not going to aim their shotgun if they actually had to use it. So there's a really good chance that that shot is going to miss, go straight through that wall, and obviously be harmful to somebody on the other side. If we look at what birdshot or other types of shot is going to spread at a certain distance, it's normally about 1 inch a yard. So if we're looking at home defense distances, from me to you in the camera, like actually fighting somebody or whatever, very close distances, that shot is still going to be smaller than like a fist. So if we're not aiming that shotgun, it's no telling where that shot's going to go off. So we just have to have some, even if you're like instinctively shooting and you have somewhat of an idea, you have to know where that shot is going. So that's kind of a no-brainer. But again, I see that thought process going on a lot with the people who say, I want to choose, birdshot for home defense. When we talk about over-penetration, that's, again, common theme when we get brought up with birdshots with shotguns. So any projectile coming out of any firearm or even air rifle, if it's capable of wounding or being lethal to a human being, it's going to go straight through that wall. There's obviously a lot of demonstrations that you can see of this. Reed Hendricks over at Valor Ridge did an awesome video. You guys should check it out. He's actually shooting. He has the ability to shoot through a house, an actual, house structure, and you can really see there some different types of ammunition and how they interact inside the home. Now, I'll be straight up and honest with you guys. What stands next to my bed, hot and ready to go, is an AR-15 with 5.56 ammunition. So immediately people who, the birdshot people are like, oh my God, there's just no way that you could choose that. What is wrong with you? If you really think about this, guys, again, one, I know that if I miss my target, I have to be accountable for every single round that leaves that barrel. This is the same deal if we go out in public and talk about, concealed carry out and about. Every time I pull that trigger, I have to know relatively where that round is going, because I'm probably going to be questioned about that. I'm probably going to be asked, where did your rounds go? So I can't just be firing blindly into a crowd of people, or firing blindly into my home if there's objects on the other side of the walls that I don't want to hit. You have to absolutely be accountable for every round that leaves the chamber. So that comes down to, I'm only going to take a shot, one, if I have the shot, two, if I have to take the shot, and three, if I have somewhat of an idea that those rounds are going where I want them to go and not, into the floor, into the ceiling. Obviously, situations may differ, and stress and adrenaline will change those factors, but I want to be as close as I possibly can be to the target. With this discussion, obviously, you want to bring some common sense into there. Like, I'm not going to tell you to use a 50 BMG and tell you it's going to be fine. You have to use common sense and know that we want something that's going to do as little overpenetration through the human body as possible and out the other side. So if I'm bringing, an anti-material rifle or something like that, obviously there's a really good chance it's going to go right through and continue on and go through that wall as well. So we want as little chance as possible as that. So what I like to do is normally, depending on your situation, I like to keep the projectile below a 30 caliber rifle round. So 5.56 for me fits that awesome medium. I think 5.56 is a phenomenal choice for a home defense round. Now, depending on the state that you're in, obviously legalities may change by what you have options for home defense, and that's where shotguns really are great. If we were looking at a shotgun, I would generally stay with buckshot. I think you have a lot of advantages to buckshot. I think that buckshot in a shotgun is one of the best, because one of the main limitations about a shotgun is limited capacity. So with buckshot, it kind of helps defeat that, because every time I pull that trigger, I have, generally speaking, 9 .32 caliber balls leaving the barrel and going towards that target. So I pull the trigger once, but I'm shooting almost 9 times every time. So it's, there's a huge difference there. I wouldn't load a slug, because again, I feel like it's the same deal with a 30 caliber, ammunition debate. It's got a much greater chance of going way more than I want it to go. Now, don't get me wrong, buckshot, 5.56, 9mm, all the handgun calibers, those are still going to go through walls. So it's kind of a futile debate in and of itself. However, there obviously, with common sense, is a line that you want to draw, but at the same time, I wouldn't say, hey, I'm going to use an airsoft gun because I don't want it to go through a piece of drywall. Common sense, guys. So we want to hit our target. We want it to hopefully stop relatively after the target, or stop inside the target, or whatever, and not go extremely far. So I think you're going to be just fine with loading buckshot, with loading all different types of handgun ammunition. I would probably load hollow points. The other reason that I like 5.56 might be a little debatable as well, but 5.56 is known to, once it strikes soft tissue or strikes a certain barrier, it starts to tumble, fragment, and break up very fast. It's a fast traveling projectile, so it's going to aid in the fact that as soon as it hits something, it's going to tumble, it's going to break apart, and it's still going to go through that wall, don't get me wrong. So again, we want to get shot placement. I really want to get that across, that although it's going to tumble, it's still going to go through the wall, and I know that, and that's why you have to worry about shot placement over everything. This is not a video to tell you to immediately unload your shotgun and load in buckshot. That's not what I'm saying. Again, go back to the first point that I made in the video, where obviously birdshot can be lethal, and it can work for home defense. I mainly wanted to make this video for you to question yourself on why you have birdshot in your shotgun. In my opinion, there's no reason to at all. to have birdshot over buckshot in your shotgun, which is going to be much more effective overall in home defense situations. So I want you guys to ask yourself that. If you have a friend who's really stubborn and won't listen to anybody, feel free, send this video to them. I love debating in the comments politely. And you guys can just kind of get an idea there on my thoughts on the topic. That's going to wrap this video up, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and hit that bell. It'll allow you to stay updated with all the content that I have coming out, and I'm normally posting 1 to 2 videos a week, so you're not going to want to miss out on that. I got a lot of awesome content coming out soon. Also, be sure to click those links down in the description. It'll take you to my Instagram and Facebook account. On my Instagram account, like always, I do daily posts, so it'll allow you guys just to see some really cool guns that I get into inventory or really cool guns that I see into the shop. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for more great videos to come soon.